Batman is so well ingrained into the culture right now.
Yep.
It's like Dracula or Sherlock Holmes at this point. And I kind of like to think of him as chicken. Like, is Adam West Batman? Yeah, absolutely. Is Bruce Timm? Yes. They're all Batman. They're just prepared differently. Chicken cordon bleu isn't for everybody, but rotisserie, they love rotisserie chicken. They love, you know what I mean? There's the different things, but it's still chicken. And I think you can't do that with a lot of characters.
That's true.
Batman, you can.
Welcome to the Warner Brothers Lot. I'm Jonathan Buckley, and this is A Lot More. Bat Fam. It's out now, and it's an adorable animated series that has a little something for everyone, from kids to adults, even die-hard Batman fans. And to find out all about it, today we're chatting to the executive producer and writer, Jase Ricci. Jase, thanks for coming in.
Oh, thank you for having me.
How has your week been? Because Bat Fam debuted, premiered, on the 10th.
Yeah.
Has it been an exciting few days?
It's been exciting. It's, as you know, like these things are years in the making.
Yeah.
It's finally here, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been super exciting.
Merry Little Batman when did that come out?
It was at 23.
When did that kernel of an idea sort of spark in the cranium?
Merry Little Batman came to me. I wasn't the first writer on that.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's actually Mike Roth and Morgan Evans' baby.
Yep.
And I came in later in the project and was the second writer on it.
Yep.
It was already very strong. And so that was my sort of entree into this different Batman. I'd worked with Batman a lot, with different Batmans, because I'd been with different Batmans or Batmen.
Batmen? Yeah, what
Batman?
is the plural?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's say Batman.
Versions of Batman?
Yeah, different versions of Batman. Thank you. And I came to that project during the animatic phase.
Yep.
We just had so much fun with it. The idea was floated of turning it into a series. Credit to Sam Register and, the development execs, Audrey Dale and Sammy Perlmutter, partnered Mike and I up together to develop the series, and kind of went from there. So
did you realize, like, during the making of Merry Little Batman, you were like, wow, this is a cool dynamic. This is a fun way to tell a Batman story, and there's a lot more to explore?
It's funny because, at the time, Mike and I were working. Mike was helping me with a different project, a Looney Tunes project that didn't get off the ground, as many projects don't. But I was also working on Bruce Timm's Cape Crusader. I was a co-EP on that show. He was telling me about this project he was working on, Merry Little Batman, and it didn't register. I was like, okay, so it's like Home Alone with Damien. Oh, okay. And then I saw what they're working on.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was great.
So if you could explain Damian Wayne, because I've been trying to wrap my head around this, and obviously if you're deep into the fandom, you'd probably understand the story. So who is Damian Wayne in Batman lore?
He's actually Batman's son with Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Talia al Ghul.
Talia al Ghul.
There's different variations. Ours is a little different in the Bat Fam. But by, the League of Shadows or League of Assassins, depending on what book you're reading. It very much, matter of fact, hardcore trained to be a killer.
Yeah.
Doesn't come into Batman's life in terms of, in the stories I've read, like, I don't even know how old he's supposed to be, 12 or something like that, but he's already just like this cold-blooded, very calculating. And that was the Damian Wayne I had in my head when they're explaining it to me. And I was like, but the Damian that they had started developing for Merry Little Batman obviously is a very different take on the character. Yeah, it's a very sweet character.
Where was Talia al Ghul? How did she get to come into Batman's life, into Bruce's life?
That was through Raj.
That was through Raj.
Or Rage, depending on Rage al Ghul.
Yeah. Who's also in the series and also been reimagined in a new way.
Yes, as a ghost.
Yeah, as a ghost, which is
really fun.
I noticed, like, you sort of need to tread carefully when you're talking about lore of things, because people have, strict ideas of how things are or should be is that from the comic book world mostly?
Yeah, I think most of it comes, most of the Batman characters and the Batman lore comes from the comics. There's, like, of course, there's exceptions like Harley Quinn.
Yep.
It was Bruce Timm, and I'm forgetting. Sorry, I don't want to not give credit to who else came up with Harley Quinn, but that was born of that. And I'm pretty sure Volcana, who's a character in our show, was born from the Superman animated series.
Right.
There might be a nerd out there who's correcting me, but I'm pretty sure that's where. But for the most part, a lot of the lore comes from comic books. But Bat fans, whom I consider myself one of, if you look at Merry Little Batman, you'll see there's a sort of homages or an appreciation for all the different Batmans, like Batman and Robin even, and Adam West and stuff like that. So that's the beauty of a character like Batman has this like 90-year legacy.
I was going to say, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And so you were a Bat fan as you grew up?
I was. I never pictured myself working with Batman. And it was like, I don't want to say a dream come true because that's a little, like, oh, a dream come true.
Yeah,
but like,
you have to.
At one point, I was working with 3 different versions of Batman, and it was
wild.
Yeah,
Like,
it was great.
Did you ever have those pinch me moments where you sit there and you're just like,
well, there's pinch me and also sweating bullets because there's pressure. Like you want to do the character justice, you want to do it right for the fans, and it's been done so well. The character has been handled so well in so many different ways, which is also the beauty of Batman. There's so many different ways to handle the character. But yeah, there's the pinch me and also don't screw this up. And my personality is like, don't screw this up.
So how did you find yourself working in animation? Was it something that you started when you were a younger gent, just said, animation is for me?
No, actually, I was writing features, live action features, doing a lot of rewrites. We'd actually written one for Warner Brothers Studio.
Yep.
We'd done some rewrites for Paramount and stuff like that. And a friend of mine was working at Nickelodeon. And he said, hey, the showrunners are taking pitches for freelance episodes. I gave it a whirl, and they liked what I did, and they brought me on staff, and they brought me on to another show. This was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at the time, the 2012.
Were you a fan of that as well?
Yeah, not as much as
not
Batman.
As much as Batman?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it's just kind of went from there. I was there, and then I moved to Disney, and I was at Disney for 6 years, Disney Animation, and then I was at Warner Brothers. Then moved over to help out with the second season of Superhero Girls, Lauren Faust's show. And it was there for 6 years. So it's like I turn around and look around, it's like, I've been working in animation for
I was going to say, this is
time.
like, that's kind of cool,
yeah,
really.
No, it's really cool. And, it's like, I'm originally a horror guy. I love horror films.
Is that right?
That's what I do. I don't want to say on my side, but the other projects I work on are more horror geared and more genre geared.
Got you. So off to the side, horror.
Yeah, and you'll see horror stuff in a lot of sides. Slip a lot of horror into the cartoons.
The cartoons.
I try to, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have in, the back of your brain somewhere something that you're working on, like a universe that you're working on that's entirely separate from anything that's been done before?
Oh, yeah, of course.
You do?
Yeah, we're writers, right?
Yeah.
We're supposed to always have something. And if you don't have something, you're supposed to lie and say, yeah, of course.
So you have in the attic a box with stuff that you're trying to create.
I have this file. I'm sure like a lot of this where it's like ideas and you go through and half of them, no, that's generous. 90% of them make you cringe. Be like, oh, what was I thinking back then? And there's some that's like, oh, maybe there's something there. And there's projects that like I jotted down something 20 years ago, and then I'll be talking to somebody and they're like, hey, I haven't, have you? And I was like, oh yeah, well, wait a minute, I got something. And then you'll go back to that idea. And
is there anything in particular that you're like, this is the one?
Like, I'm a huge horror fan. I've been a fan of H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah.
I got to say, of a lot of his work, and I want to be clear because, as some people may know, questionable social values, that I don't agree with at all. But like in terms of the weird, quote unquote, weird fiction, I've been a fan of. And the beauty of H.P. Lovecraft is that most of it is public domain, which a lot of people don't know. So you can, and I've been working on an adaptation of some of his work. That's been really fun. And I've been working on, it's been something that has been with a couple of producers over the years. It's funny, I wrote it at the time I was working on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles staffed there, and I was doing a couple freelance episodes for another show at Nickelodeon. And I was also at the same time working on another project that didn't get off the ground, but it was for WAG, for Warner Brothers Animation, Bugs Bunny.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so many kid stuff. I can't forget about it. So I decided to just write this pilot based on H.P. Lovecraft's Herbert West Reanimator. I don't know if horror fans will like that. It's been with me for years with different producers and stuff like that. And it's always been sort of my dream. And actually, coincidentally enough, 3 years ago, the opportunity came up. Jim Craig, who was the big with the animated films, awesome guy. I don't know if you've ever met him. Knew I was a Batman fan, knew I was a horror fan, and he asked me, like, you like Lovecraft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You like Batman, right? I was like, yeah. It's like, well, we're adapting, Mike Mignola's The Doom That Came to Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yes. So at least, even if nothing happens with any of the other stuff, at least I wrote, that came out, I think, like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
but that was surreal. That's awesome.
So fun.
Yeah, the confluence of my two favorite things.
Yeah,
I know I got off topic.
We got off topic. No, but I always love when we're talking to creatives like yourself. I know that there's you always have so many irons in the fire, and your brain's working on some really cool stuff. And so I always like to see if I can get something that ahead of time, like some title that's going to come out 5 years from now. And we're like, we talked about that in the podcast.
Yeah, well, I hope so too. I'll call me.
Does it have a title, the one that you're really passionate about?
It's changed a couple times.
That's all right. We won't push it.
Yeah,
We won't push this. But that brings us to Bat Fam. And I've really enjoyed watching the series so far. I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Thank you so much.
I've been trying to figure out the best way to sort of do a pitch. You know, it's Batman meets... Could you finish that sentence? Batman meets... Sitcom.
Yeah,
because I was thinking that, like, family-centric.
Like a family sitcom, like that knows it's not self-aware, it's not like meta or anything like that.
Yep.
But I think that was the challenge of taking the Dark Knight and just sort of like doing this other side to him. You know, because that was different than the movie, because the movie was a one-shot, right? Mm-hmm. And it didn't have the family. It had Alfred and it had Damian. Part of the fun was like building out this very sitcom feeling found family. Yeah. And that was when Mike and I were working on it. That's kind of where our launching point was.
With all of these, unique and eccentric characters as well. It's almost like Addams Family, kind of like.
That was actually something that we cited. Yeah.
Is
like
it?
The Addams Family.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just, it's got that feel where it's a family, but it's like from a different genre almost.
Totally. And you've taken, again, those characters like Ra's al Ghul or Pap in the series, who's no longer with us, but he is as a ghost. No spoilers if you're watching this. And
if you've seen the trailer, then you've probably figured it out.
Probably figured that out by now. And so you're having a lot of fun, like reimagining these characters. Was it difficult to do that? Was it just more fun coming up with these ideas?
It was really fun. I mean, again, credit where credit is due. Sam Register, who had sort of like the nugget of this idea, and Sammy Perlmutter and Audrey Deal, who were the executives on it, were very collaborative with Mike and I. So I want to be clear that these weren't all my ideas, but like, they had the idea of like, let's have a reformed villain be part of the family, but she's a kid, and at one point it was going to be Giganta, I think, the early idea, and we kicked that around because we wanted to make sure that we had superpowers. Giganta's great, but the suggestion came to Claire and then kind of Volcana. Kind of the fun was like, it's one thing to say, oh, we should have this supervillain be a kid on the show. Yeah, that's really cool. How do you get there? How
do you get there?
So, unfortunately, we have, the Lazarus Pit, which Ra's al Ghul is famous for, and that actually built a backstory. And there's an episode, I don't want to get into any specifics or anything like that. I'm very proud of that Libby Doyle wrote about her backstory, and Claire became one of my favorite characters to work on. I love those like hard outer shell, soft, those characters have that heart. And Man-Bat was another one that was fun.
Oh my goodness, Man-Bat. So much fun.
Yeah. When Mike and I were talking about it, I don't know if it's funny where he started and where he ended up, because there's this movie that maybe people remember. Did you ever see Real Genius? It's a Val Kilmer. There's this character, Real Genius, and now maybe I got the title wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Real Genius. Jonathan Gries played the guy who's on the White Lotus and stuff like that, and he's been around forever. He's an awesome actor, but he played this character Laszlo, who just would walk out. He barely had any lines. He would just walk out of the closet and kind of like just lived in their house. And I was like, let's start there with Man-Bat. And then, the execs like Jane Vishnu would be like, well, don't forget, Kurt's a scientist. We're like, oh yeah, we got to do that. And then when Bobby Moynihan came in,
oh my goodness,
that's when, it started to click. And then as, because you're writing episodes as we're recording episodes, and like, that's starting to inform the voice. So
as you're going through, you've already cast a lot of the actors that are going to be doing the voices. So you're still writing the show.
Oh yeah,
and those actors or at least their delivery and their personality that they bring is affecting the writing as well.
I would say in every case.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would say in every case. I mean, that's part of the fun of, writing just in general. I wouldn't say in animation is just like really kind of listening to what the actor brings to it, because they're going to know better than you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then sort of like having an ear for the things that like what they respond to, what they don't respond to. And then, you get to the point where it's like, where you're writing things. And if you know the actor well enough, it's like, does that line work? It's like, they could pull it off.
They'll
pull it off. Yeah.
And you have a stellar cast. And I mean, you really mean it though. For an animated series, you've really managed to pull together some massive names and
I didn't do
some real talent.
Well, I didn't pull anybody together.
But Bat Fam has.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
was that an easy sell to this talent? When you say, hey, we're going to have Batman meets sitcom, would you like to come on board? To get people?
It's hard for me to answer that because the original 3, the casting was done by the time I came on board. But I will say that everybody was very eager to the show to join the Batman. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement because I love Batman. I don't think it's ever been done this way. Yeah, and I think that was interesting to a lot of actors.
Super unique.
Like that,
and very positive as well. Like, I know you like horror. But this is, you have kids, you have boys. It's a comedy, but it's got heart. Like, it's a fun thing to work on.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that was really important to both Mike and I, who's also a dad. Jokes and action is one thing, but we had to have the heart. And that was like we did a grid of like, how do these two characters get along? Where do they not get along? Where do they, what I mean? What's their common ground? Yeah. Because once other writers come in and the actors come in, they're adding more depth to the characters. And Alicia Pennyworth is a lot of fun. And that was a character that we kind of found. She's unique in a lot of ways. And that, by the way, she's named after Alicia Silverstone. That was
is that right?
Yeah. Who played Alfred's niece? Yeah. In Batman and Robin. Yeah. It's that was an Easter egg that I put in. Yeah. That's the only thing I'll take credit for. There's a thing for Bat fans. I say, like, there is no Bruce Wayne. He's Batman, and Bruce Wayne is the disguise, right? That's how he's different than Superman, right? Because he's Clark Kent, but Superman is his disguise. But Batman is Batman, and Bruce Wayne is an act. And there's very few people who knew Bruce Wayne before there was Batman. Right. There's very few people who knew him as a child, who knew Bruce Wayne. And Alicia was our opportunity to do that. Gotcha. Yep. I just think that was a really kind of fun sort of thing to play with. Like, she knew Bruce as Bruce, and not many people other than Alfred, knew that. And she didn't know him as Batman. So that's like, she knows him in a way that nobody else knows him. Yeah. And Alfred is a major star of the series as well. Like, I mean, obviously Alfred's massive in all of the Batmans, but he plays such a big part in the cartoon, and he's hilarious. Yes, yeah. I'm having a lot. He's like one of my favorite characters on that. James Cromwell brings a lot to that character, and I just, his sort of, I don't want to say rivalry, because it's kind of one-sided for the most part. With Ra's al Ghul, is really funny. Like, Ra's has got this fiery competition for him. He's just like, he's his rival. Like, I'm the blood grandfather. And Alfred just doesn't even pay it any mind. I think it's really fun. And I think there's been episodes where, Commissioner Gordon, our take on Commissioner Gordon is he really likes Alfred a lot. Yeah. Like just thinks Alfred is great, and Alfred is kind of indifferent to it. He's very, cordial. He's a British gentleman and everything like that. But it's a lopsided relationship in that way. And I think that's what makes him funny. I like it. He's very active in the series. Which is good. Yeah. Damian Wayne, we were very fortunate to actually have Jonas come in and join us here. I heard he's terrific. What a nice talent. Kid. Lovely kid. Great energy, wonderful personality. But what a talent to have voicing what I would say is, is the main character of the series. He's extremely talented because most of the shows that I've worked on in the past, most of the children are voiced by adults. That does happen in so much animation. Yeah. It's because adults, I think, they're more mature and they have more versatility, and I think that speaks a lot to his maturity level and his ability as an actor. And I think super challenging as well, because we were talking about how a lot of the lines are recorded without the other reader opposite you. That's an incredible skill. I was watching the episode where he's reading opposite Bobby Moynihan or Man Bat, and it's punchy and it's flowing, and I'm just thinking, wow, they must have had such a great time in the studio together recording this. But no, that was all recorded separately. And so for him to be able to pull that off, like you said, shows his maturity and talent. And and not to take credit away from the actor, because yes, absolutely, it's also, we had an incredible voice director as well, and the editing, it's all that's, I mean, it's such a collaborative art. But yeah, Jonas is, I'm not taking anything away from him, of course. It's our voice directors there, like saying, you know what I mean, like you get the actors to do like 50 different takes of a line so you can see what mix and match. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you spend much time in the voice booth when that stuff's going on? I have on other shows a lot. Yep. This one, at the beginning I was, just because it's exciting. But I was really busy spending time writing the upcoming episodes and stuff like that. So it
must have been fun, listening to, what do you call it? Do we call it the dailies, or getting those sent across, like getting to listen to the recording? Do you get to have a little look?
It is fun, yeah. It's fun to hear how they do it. And actually what else is actually exciting is they do what's called an animatic. It's like basically taking the storyboard and putting it to the voice sound, like the radio play.
Yeah.
And sometimes like we'll write the script and I don't hear any of the records or anything like that. And then we sit down to watch the animatic and then you hear it there. It's like, oh, that's so cool. How they used that was a great take. Or I didn't think of that line that way. Or they ad-libbed something that's better than what you...
Was there a little freedom for them to do that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We all try to stay really flexible. And I credit Mike Roth to that too. There's a very collaborative, like, best joke gets in or best line gets in, or, and I think that's the way to do it.
How does it feel when you write something and you're excited about a scene and then you get to listen to it back for the first time?
Depends how it comes out.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Well, that didn't work at all.
Yeah.
Or, when it works, it feels great. Yeah. I mean, because like when it's an animatic, you're watching it with the crew and you're watching with the executives. And when it gets laughs or it gets, a positive response, that's great.
Yeah.
And when the room is silent, you kind of just shrink into the shadows and you're like, I'll be in my office and nobody needs me.
Slink out the back door.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The animation style, I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great animation style. And, animations are all completely different and you could have gone in any direction, really, with this. Is there a particular name for this style? It's very comic booky, but is there a particular style?
I'm not the guy to ask because I worked in animation. I'm not an animator. I knew it's heavily influenced by Ron Searle.
Yep.
To me, it's very evocative of like Mad Magazine, and I mean that in the most complimentary way. It has this sort of 70s feel to it as well. Like I said, I'm not an artist guy, so I can just say that I can appreciate it as much as you do, yeah.
It's a very particular style. I don't know, I like it. I like that Bruce Wayne, he's very clearly skipped leg day. He's very triangular.
Yes, exactly.
As a man who likes to skip leg day himself, I'm like, I approve.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. And the way, and you've seen this in Merry Little Batman, and the way the Joker moves.
Yeah.
Even like, it's inhuman, but it uncanny in a way, but like it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the way he flips his legs around, and just so credit to the animators and the board artists.
It's so creative. I was actually just watching one the other day, and I noticed like Damian Wayne's bed. He's got the top bunk, but then under the bunk, he's got all of his computer screens, almost like a kind of a little bat cave of his own underneath his double decker bed. It's kind of set up to be like a bat cave.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned that there's some Easter eggs in there, but is it fun like dropping in those sorts of little Easter eggs throughout?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun to do that, to see if people catch the Easter eggs. I could tell, and I don't know if I'll get in trouble for this one. So
it's all right.
I'll get edited.
The whole
but like
series is out,
one Easter egg that nobody caught. This is actually from the movie.
Yeah.
I was actually concurrently working on the first episode of Cape Crusader, which it's been out for 2 years now, so I don't think it's a spoiler. Had the Penguin in it. Yep. I was also working on Merry Little Batman, which also featured the Penguin, and I gave them both the same exact line. So they're completely different takes on the Penguin, but if you watch both of them, they were like, wait a minute, both Penguins said that. I won't say which line because I don't want to get in trouble.
Someone will find it though, because again, the Bat fans are like...
But yeah, it's just like, I was just kind of put it in there, and like it makes sense in the context of both, because they're completely different shows.
Yep.
But it makes sense in the context of each of them. So that was the one that only I don't know if I've ever told anybody that. That was just for me.
Well,
so,
yeah, it'd be fun
I don't
to
even know
see
if
if
Mike
anyone
knew
figured
that.
one out. Yeah. Do you go to things like Comic-Con and conventions?
I don't want to say I keep a low profile and stuff like that, but I just think there's cooler people out there that fans would be more interested in talking about.
I doubt that very much.
Talking to. Oh, yeah.
Is there any other universe that you'd like to delve into as a creator outside of the maybe the Batman universe, something within some other area or within the DC universe, like another story?
Like I said, I've had been at Warner Brothers for 6 years, and really was fortunate to work on a lot of different things, everything from like Tom and Jerry to, and like I said, I worked on Bugs Bunny years ago, but I did Superhero Girls, I did a Teen Titans Go crossover and stuff like that. a pitch that I had, and it was a totally different take on it, and that I kind of wanted to get off the ground when they were like just looking at, well, what sort of animated features could we do with different characters that haven't been used. It was Challengers of the Unknown.
Okay.
Which I wouldn't say they're a top tier team, but they're sort of like the inspiration for the Fantastic Four. They came out before the Fantastic Four. They're four. They don't have superpowers, but other than that, they're kind of very similar.
Yeah.
They're four adventurers who nearly died and basically should have died but didn't, and so now they're like devoted to having their lives spent, helping others, like putting forward. My take on it was different because they aren't well known. You feel like you have a little more liberty to take some artistic license, and my take on it was a little bit more like Ghostbusters a little bit. Like a Ghostbusters take on and it made them more of like a family, a mother and son, and I was really a fan of it. I would love to have seen that, but these things don't happen. I think they said it was. I think the reason was it was too good. They said, I think they're like, we like this too much. We don't want to make too much money. Yeah. We have already. So that was.
Have you ever done anything live action? Is there anything? Would you ever want to delve into that world?
You want to know something funny?
Yeah.
Years and years ago, I was an uncredited rewrite. I came in late as a writer, kind of like as I did on Merry Little Batman. But this is when I had a writing partner, an uncredited rewrite on a movie called Blonde Ambition, starring Jessica Simpson and Mr. Wilson. So it was like the second time that I came into a project, with like rewriting.
Yeah.
I've helped other people with their scripts. I have like a lot of writer friends and stuff like that, and I'll do stuff like that. But yeah.
Is it a small community?
The writing community it's yes and no.
Yeah.
It's like you feel like you know a lot of people, but then like you look at credits, like, I don't know who those people are. Or I don't know who that guy is. I tend not to go away. If I meet somebody, I was just like, I've been friends with writers for like 20 years. So we'll catch up. And my very good friend who I've known for a long time is working on a horror feature. And he's like, will you read this for me? Not because he wants my notes, because he wants me to like say, hey, it's awesome. But like, I love doing that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I get the sense that you really love what you do.
I do.
Yeah. I get the sense that you really enjoy it. You're very enthusiastic about it. Does your house have a lot of memorabilia in it? Or posters, or this type of stuff, or do you tend to keep that to the office?
Let me tell you what happened here. And I love my wife. My wife is like the greatest. She's not a fan of knick-knackery.
Gotcha. I understand.
But what she is a fan of is supporting my hobbies. So I have a studio built on the side of my house.
Yeah,
it's very small, 120 square feet. That is wall to wall. Like I have something like, 5,000 DVDs and action figures, stacks and stacks of comic books, stacks and stacks of Fangoria magazine. All the DVDs are organized by like superhero genre. Then within the super like horror genre, zombie horror, vampire horror, superhero, Marvel superhero, Marvel animated, Marvel live action, MCU. Like, so, not Marvel. I don't have any Marvel. It's just easy. But, my kids love going in there, and I love hanging out in there. So yeah, I do. I tend to collect a lot of genre stuff.
I don't know why, but that just feels so appropriate for someone in your line of work to me. So it's nice.
It's funny. You walk around the offices, and you'll just see some of the toy collections that people got on their walls and stuff. And I feel bad, but then I go and look at some of their offices, and it's just like, okay, I'm not that bad.
I love it. How fun to be able to create in that world. Do you have a particular favorite version of Batman over the years?
That's a tough question, but I do. I loved Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's Batman was great, but Kevin Conroy's is hard to beat. And I was very lucky, actually. I did this short. It's my favorite Batman project I've worked on. It was a DC Under the Dome event. It was during COVID, so they were trying to have different shorts. But, it's one of those things where they don't have a lot of budget to do those things. And so the challenge was, can you come up with a Batman short without spending a lot of money and like whatever? So what we did was I pitched an idea where Kevin Conroy's Batman, using pre-existing animation, this was Batman Beyond, actually.
Yeah.
Is watching Batman 66 because we had access to that show too, and it's like a mystery science theater thing where they receive this weird transmission. Batman and the new Batman and Bruce Wayne receive this weird transmission, and all of a sudden they're watching Adam West and it was one of Kevin Conroy's last performances. It wasn't his last, it was his last one, but I'm glad I got the chance.
But I think that's kind of cool because, since doing this, I'm starting to learn that there's so many different ways of telling these stories, and particularly, in these universes, because you have Elseworlds as well, which is these versions of it. We just talked about Aztec Batman recently, which is another animated series, and so really the sky's the limit, isn't it? Creatively with you guys when it comes to creating versions of Batman.
Batman is so well ingrained into the culture right now.
Yep.
As a character, I think more than any other, it's like Dracula or Sherlock Holmes at this point. And I kind of like to think of him as, this is going to sound weird, but as chicken. So in a weird way, because think about it. Like, is Adam West Batman? Yeah, absolutely. Is Bruce Timm? Yes. Is Bruce Timm? Is Kevin Conroy? Yes. They're all Batman. They're just prepared differently. You know what I mean? It's like you could prepare Batman, and because like the bones are there, like the essence is there, and it's all in how you prepare it. So like chicken cordon bleu isn't for everybody, but rotisserie, they love rotisserie chicken. They love, you know what I mean? It's just like analogy. They love tandoori chicken. Yeah. So it's just like there's the different things, but it's still chicken. And I think you can't do that with a lot of characters.
That's true.
Batman, you can.
And you can do that also with so many of the villains within the universe as well. I mean, the common question that everybody gets asked on top of favorite Batman is like, who is your favorite Joker? Do you have one?
Mark Hamill, probably.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with Jack
voiceover
Nicholson, but I can't imagine it being anybody else.
That was such a surprise to me when I learned that Mark Hamill was voicing that version of the Joker. I don't know who I imagined to be voicing that character, but
the Joker. You know what I mean? It's just like you imagine there's a guy in there with white makeup and
and then I was like, Mark Hamill, what? Because wow, and I agree as a voice, absolutely brilliant. Jase, I won't take up any more of your time. The series is fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
And we can check it out on Prime Video.
Yeah.
It's the whole season is out, isn't it?
It is.
Full series, so you can just go and binge that. Are we looking at multiple seasons of this? I feel like this is a series that could go on and on and on and on.
I hope so. I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us,
Well,
Jase.
thank you so much.
Cheers,
this has been great. Thank you. It's awesome.